It'll end shortly before launch, and we are targeting a launch time of 5:30 EST, 4:30 CST. We have a 1-hour launch window, so from that time, we have an hour we can hold for any time in that period. As long as it is within the launch window, we can launch. Everything is looking nominal, fueling is go, weather is go, range is go. However, we will not receive that all clear until fueling is fully complete. We will have a schedule hold around T minus 40 seconds. It'll be about a minute, and it is just for our teams to do final checks over the Super Heavy and Starship vehicles. That is likely when we will receive the all go for launch. You will see the water uh, on the pad shoot up, and you will see our fire suppression system begin. Super Heavy vehicle will go for about a minute or two. It'll not actually immediately separate like Falcon 9 or other rockets before it. It'll actually keep going. It'll throttle down engines, cut off some engines slowly, and the Starship vehicle will ignite its engines, and it's protected by that hot staging ring right there. Once it separates, we will jettison the hot staging ring, and the booster will flip, do a boost back burn, back to launch site, hopefully. In the event of an emergency on the booster or any type of error, we will do an offshore divert, and if it is too close to the launch site, we will use our flight termination system. Same thing for our Starship vehicle, ship number 5. Um, really, the only failure mode is, failure on ascent or reentry failure. This ship 5, it has outdated avionics. It is a V1 ship. We are planning to produce a V2 ship on later integrated flight test flights. And ship 5 is just meant as the placeholder ship for this test, which is mostly testing our booster catch capabilities. And we don't even have to catch it for it to be successful. If we divert or just land it in the water, we will gather data from that and use that to improve our next booster catches. Our chopsticks are currently sitting at idle there at the top of the tower. They will sit there until catch, when they will auto lock onto the Super Heavy vehicle and catch it using the catch pins. A lot of people think that we use the grid fins to catch them. No, we use the small catch pins that basically fit on the chopsticks, and they also help us lift the vehicle up, the stack on the OLM, and get the ship on top. The ship also has similar um, little areas, but those are only catch pins. As you can see, the frost on the Super Heavy vehicle and on Starship has increased. This is a sign that our fueling is going nominal and completely fine. This is a normal part of our fueling operations and is nothing out of the ordinary here. Calculated the approximate time that um, we will be done with fueling, and it is just before our launch time. In the event that is inaccurate or our fueling systems are a bit downgraded and are not producing the amount of fuel needed into the rocket, we can do a hold. A hold will possibly be 5 to 15 minutes. That is literally nothing compared to our 1 hour launch window, and that is actually very common. We can have that for boats in our range. We have a huge area that is closed for planes and boats. So that is a large area off the coast of Brownsville, Texas, uh, on Starbase, and we also have a large area. Is good, range is clear, weather is go, and fueling is going nominal, and everything is going as expected on both Ship 5 and of Super Heavy. Our next ship that will fly will not be Ship 6, 7, it'll be, Ship 8, which is our next, flight-capable ship. Um, Ship 6 is an expendable, ship. It is just used as a test tank for our lunar program, which Starship will use, um, in the future, to put humans on the moon, and NASA has contracted SpaceX to do so in real life. And then we have, if I just take a look over here at my ship fleet, Ship 7, which is also expendable. It has been spotted in Star Factory, but without tiles, much like Ship 6. So, original speculation was it was going to be for IFT-6. That is unconfirmed so far. Um, but most likely, due to the avionics upgrade and our software upgrades on the ship, we will likely be using Ship 8. We are planning, this is only IFT-4. Later IFTs will use a different version of ship that's more reliable and may actually take reentry a bit better, and may actually survive a bit longer than our V1 ship. We cannot give a exact date on when those will be built or even produced in our star factory, or even rolled out to the launch site. That will probably be into 2026 because this is a realistic window. We are not just progressing things unrealistically. This is the first launch in SpaceX Starbase V2 Roblox in 11 months. Nice, got some people in the Starbase. Let's go watching. Closing in on T minus 20 minutes until IFT-4. Everything going nominal so far. No issues on ship or the super heavy vehicle. test 3. So our booster successfully landed at our designated landing area. Our ship came in for a landing. During reentry, it disintegrated. We do not know what happened. Well, we kind of do, but data was mostly completely lost. Though the original plan was to have our ship be the main testing platform for this launch, we decided to go with our booster catch, as that is now a thing in this game. It's Starbase V2 on Roblox. I'm your mission control director, Schlipper or Bounty Dev. There will likely be silence periods. That is when I'm working behind the scenes on stuff. You will likely hear my mission control audio, stuff I'm just relaying. It will be quieted down a bit on the actual audio, so you won't hear it as good as the live launch commentary. T-minus 15-minute no-go pull. Weather is go. Range is go. Tracking is go. Fueling is go. Ship data is reading. Super heavy data is reading. T-minus 15 minutes. Minutes exactly. Pad alarm has been activated. T-minus 15 minutes. All right, so you heard my mission control audio. So T minus 15 minutes update. Everything on the ship and booster are nominal. There is a minor problem, but it's nothing major. Just our fueling is a bit slow. But that's not a mission critical thing that we have to worry about. That is, just because this is our first flight with updated software, so it's going to be a bit offset. Um, so yeah, everything is go. Range, weather, everything is go for IFT-4. So we are approaching on T minus 10 minutes very, very shortly. Yep, this is our first integrated flight test with new hardware. So this is completely unpredictable. We do not know what's going to go wrong or what's going to go right. We're just hoping for the best. It seems we have corrected the fueling issue on Starship and Super Heavy. It was mostly just Starship. As you can see, fueling is nearly complete on the Super Heavy vehicle and Starship. So, this is huge. We are approaching on T-minus 5 minutes until launch. Ship and booster fuel load has been completed. T-minus 5 minutes exactly. Booster and ship fuel valves have been closed. T-minus 4 minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. All systems on the spacecraft are nominal. T-minus 2 minutes. There's a planned hold at T-minus 40 seconds, just to look over everything before launch. We have not yet entered the planned hold. The planned hold has not been entered yet. It'll be entered at exactly 40 seconds. All systems are currently nominal. There's no cause for the hold. It is a planned hold that we do every launch just to look over everything. T-minus 1 minute. Currently under our planned hold. We are now looking over everything. Okay. Waiting for confirmation to exit the planned hold. We are now exiting our planned hold. We are now resuming count. IFT-4 resuming count. I have no countdown. I'm just relying on that word go. T-minus 20 seconds. Fire suppression system activated. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And ready, go. Booster is in the air. Program begin. Flight is currently nominal. Vehicle is pitching downrange. 15 kilometers downrange. We are approaching our hot stage sequence. Hot stage sequence begin. And separation confirmed. And we have just lost Respect sequence begin. And we have just lost connection with the booster. Please stand by. Please stand by. It seems we have just lost connection to Super Heavy. We do not know the cause for that anomaly currently. It's stuck at 101 kilometers. We currently, ship is raising our altitude. We will attempt to regain connection with Super Heavy. We are currently 136 kilometers downrange from our tower. Engine cut off. The Starship vehicle will coast. We are assuming we have lost the booster. That is unconfirmed at the time. However, based off the current, we've lost all data from the booster. It seems like we have just lost the and yeah. So the ship, the reason why we did Seco so early is we have not lost control. We have not lost control with the ship. The ship is currently under our control. Um, we'll attempt to land it here, but we have lost the booster and ship avionics are outdated. This was an original test for the booster. We will gather data from the booster and see exactly what went wrong. We cannot see just based on the replays exactly. We'll have to go through more data. But likely with more people next launch, IFT-6, we will likely have a smoother launch than that. And we are currently about 250 kilometers downrange. We are just coasting. Yeah, Starship is currently coasting. It is not capable of going really any farther. So Ship 5 will attempt to re-enter, do something that, our previous ship, IFT-3, could not do. The coast phase, we don't really know exactly how long it'll be, but we do know re-entry will be coming up shortly. Um, but with booster lost, it was lost at exactly 3,253 kilometers an hour at 101 kilometers, and 2707, which is basically just something we use. Like, it's kind of how far, I guess, or how fast, I guess, we're going up or down. as we will have more people we will assign them to different things. Now, just because we lost the booster does not mean this flight was unsuccessful. If somehow we were able to recover the ship on Earth, that'll be good. This was the first launch in 11 months, so it was not expected to go successful. It was just expected to see if we can get off the pad. Yeah, and we will be doing something here. We are now going through the atmosphere, and that's not good. Um, Ship is tumbling. 13 kilometers. 11. Re-entering, and we have just lost connection. 9 kilometers. So it did go through the atmosphere a bit. Right, because of how much fuel we had, a landing burn would not be possible. That honestly gave us a lot of data probably already. We will analyze that and make it better. Ship 8 will be our next ship, likely going to be flying on IFT-6. But we only lost our ship at 8 kilometers, so that is pretty low. That is pretty good. It survived the journey. Thank you all for coming to IFT-6. That was actually insane. We did get a lot of people watching, which is pretty cool. IFT-6 will be way better. We're actually gonna have more people that different roles instead of just two people doing. I was the person controlling the launch, and then I have the stream. I actually streaming did the OLM stuff, water suppression and stuff. So IFT-6, IFT-5, yeah, will be likely around this time next month. We will do, but between that time, we will have tests on, you know, our ship and on booster. Booster is, it's not in our fleet yet. Neither is the ship. We have plenty of time to build those. Thank you all for joining IFT-4. We hopefully we'll see you for IFT-5. And next time we're actually going to try to, hopefully we can catch it.